here. Tonight, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be doing tonight, actually. Opening a box. Let me flip the... No. Here. I'll create a post real quick. With the link. Even though I just posted, I did that so I could make the thumbnail. I put that in the description of it, though. That way I could use the YouTube text addition to the photo on the thumbnail. Okay. Let's put it on live chat for a change. Oh. That's not good. What's up, Blazing Gamer? My screen is not working. All right, I'm seeing the chat, though. Huh. What the heck? Hey, horny animal. But I was just thinking about a bunch of folks that I haven't seen in a while. Whenever I was looking through my description there, I was looking at haven't seen Saltycroccollectibles in a while, which he kind of got out of this, is what he was telling me a while back. He was getting out of it. I think he sold pretty much everything that he had left on eBay, which that was kind of his thing. That he done that. Like eBay was his thing. Hey, K-Man, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I was talking about people I hadn't seen in a minute. Yeah, I didn't stream last week because last Saturday was my little sister's baby shower. Huh. I forgot about being able to... They gave me all these sneak peeks for eating history that I got to post on my channel. But what was weird about that? So they gave me these edited videos that it was kind of difficult for me to actually get them transferred over to where I could upload them. Anyway, but they'd give me these sneak peeks, previews, whatever, and then some other stuff that they did promo wise, like the Viking cast eating history is the way I titled that one. There was some, but what was weird about it is after I posted them, within a day, they would get claimed. They would get copyright claimed by them. Like, you asked me to post this on my channel, and I did, and then you claimed it. Like, there was no talk of that. And I asked people, but nobody that I talked to had answers about that, so it didn't really matter. I'm trying to get a link to this stream right here. Anyways, I thought that was kind of strange that they would claim. Maybe it was automated. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that there wasn't a human behind that going to the host of the show's YouTube channel and claiming a preview video that they asked me to upload. I didn't have to do it. They asked, I had a choice. Let's see. I'm not going to have a proper thumbnail for this. Shoot. Maybe. I can at least get a picture of the box. Has Dan made it yet? Been a weird schedule lately. Oh, you got a sick cat? Have to give him eye drops every 4 hours. No more early bedtimes for me anymore. No consistent bedtime at all. Yeah, dude, I've been there, done that, like more times than I can remember. My son just picked up this little baby cat a little over 2 weeks ago, I think now. Been roughly a little over 2 weeks, I think. And it was tiny. Like, it was just, it could have been anywhere in between 4 and 7 weeks. You know, like a malnutrition 7 and a rather healthy 4. But we, why can't I get out of this? We went and got it, formula, bottles, all that stuff. And it didn't want the bottle for some reason, which is kind of crazy, but hopefully my son's been giving it to him in a bowl, because I just thought about that last night, like now, because it couldn't even drink water out of a bowl. It was weird. I had to give it to it in a syringe, or it wouldn't drink water. Okay, I think I've got to correct everything here. Good enough. I probably should have read over that before I posted. I do that, and then I go back and I see I made a typo somewhere, and I look like an idiot. Okay. Dan has made it. Oh no. Daggone it. Well, that sucks. I don't know what else to say about that other than that sucks. Seems like I haven't seen DeCarlos in a while. Probably for good reason. I guess that's the ultimate end for all of us eventually. When you start thinking about it, you just, there's nothing good to think about when it comes to that, really. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's perspective. It very well could be the beginning of something else. Very well. I've seen some pretty interesting data. I don't know what you'd call it. Apparently data here lately concerning that and what happens after. And everyone that I've told about what I saw have blown me off and been like, that sounds crazy, like a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that what they've done is correct. Anyway, long story short, supposedly they can track the soul now. That with the electrical impulses, there's something to do with how that has a that isn't just our bodies doing that. It's actually something more, and they're able to track it after. And it's pretty interesting. If you have any interest in it, you can try to look it up and probably find what I'm talking about, because it's fairly recent, within the past few weeks, that, or maybe few months. I'd say few months. Yeah, that apparently they have made this breakthrough or discovery. Not in America, though. It was China or Russia, one or the other. I can't remember which one. Anyway, been in a funk lately, but in and out of chat, YouTube. Yeah, if he needs any help, I'm sure that like he could call on any of us, and we'd be there for him. Sometimes that doesn't matter. You know, it's nice to know that people offer and you have that option, but also at the same time, sometimes it just you don't want that. It just depends. Usually, you just rather deal with it, or well, I guess everybody's different when it comes to that. That would be myself that I'm talking about. So, anyway, got a package over here from Dan. It weighed 5.64 kilograms. What is 5. Wait.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you restate the question?
Yes. What is 5.640 kilograms in pounds?
12.43 pounds.
12.43 pounds is what it did weigh. I know it weighs less now. And unfortunately, really unfortunately, because let's just do this. So Dan is in the chat. Dan did mention that he wanted this package to get here before my birthday, which is like in a few days. So it's here, and we're opening it. But somebody else opened it already. You shall see. See that? They don't care. They take a freaking butcher knife to it. I mean, that, like, they resealed it and then they cut it again after it had been resealed. Do you see that? Like, what the heck? It wouldn't surprise me if my post office down there didn't do this. And they didn't even have the decency to open it up properly, which there is a flap on the top right here. You just cut the tape around here, and see that? That's meant to come up out of there, and this lid to open up. Like, these are nice boxes that the Australian Airmail Post, or Airmail Australia Airmail, whatever, their postal service that they have. And Dan paid a lot of money shipping this thing over here. $127.60 in Australian money. I don't know what that converts to, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Plus everything inside. Plus what they stole. They also were kind enough to write me a very threatening letter. I don't know where it's at right now, but yeah, it was accusing me of like trying to import tobacco and stuff. It just, yeah, anyway. Whatever. Let's open the package from Dan the proper way. I think I can get under it right here. Now, I don't know if I cut through on this. I think I do this. The sides. Okay. What do you want, kitty? What do you want, buddy? Minnie just ran outside a minute ago. Don't want to accidentally cut something inside of here. If it has made it and they haven't completely butchered it, which I think they probably have. Just because there's been stuff falling out of this package since it's been here for a little over a week and a half or so. And see that right there? That's been all over the house. Every time I move the package, there's a handful of noodles that fell out. But I think there was a lesson learned here. If nothing else, there was what we'll call a quite expensive lesson learned here. But let's open this and see how bad it is. I'm kind of reluctant because, man, I know Dan put a lot into this, and then they don't care. They don't care, not one bit. All right. Let's see. Well, they opened it from the other end, so maybe that's why it still looks about halfway right when we open it, because the bubble wrap is, I would say, properly on top here. All right. Dan, how much different does this look than when you sent it? Yeah, I agree, Dan. I'll agree with that. Noodles are the cheapest thing, and if that's the only casualty, I will be happy. All right, let me see if I can find a piece of tape or something. Tape. Hang on. Can I put the lid down behind it? Nope. Nope, it's not going to work. All right. It'll be fine. All right, so right off the bat, there is what appears to be like a local, I'm going to guess like grocery store, the fresh food people right there. This bag's a keeper. Gala Creative. Jessica Johnson. So this, you see a lot of stores over here doing this reusable bag thing where they want you, well, like Sam's Club. If you go to Sam's Club, they let you use their surplus cardboard boxes, but there are no bags unless you bring your own bags. And I try to bring my own bags, and this would be a bag that I would take for groceries. Gala Creative. Is that the name of the store? I'm looking at the chat now. Is that the name of the store that this is from? Yeah, that's a good sized bag though, actually. I don't know how to. It's bigger than what you'd think. Way bigger than a regular shopping bag, I'd say. I'd say you can get a lot more in here than a standard shopping bag. Folds up nice and small too. All right. Inside the box. Oh, what's that? Coconut rice pudding? Yum. I assume it looks like, what are they? Cinnamon? They put sugar and cinnamon on there. There's probably a recommendation on what to do with it. Heating instructions. Range of meals including vegan options. Simply head to our website. On-track meals. Gourmet meals for the outdoors. Cool. So this is like ration food. It's meant as like a camping option. For a dessert, obviously. Okay, I'm going to stack that back there. What's this? Well, they didn't open this either. Okay, so maybe this isn't a complete mess. Oh, this is freeze-dried ice cream. Oh. Tasmanian pepper berries, honey, and milk. Crunchy crumble, freeze-dried ice cream. Raspberry and leatherwood honey. Leatherwood? I can only assume that has like a leather, hint of leather to the taste or smell. there's a piece that's wedged in there sideways. I'm pretty sure it probably wasn't supposed to be like that, but it feels like it's still in good shape. Doesn't feel like there's been any moisture get to it, which is obviously key to anything freeze-dried. Oh, wow, look at that. That is cool. Wait, is this powdered Vegemite? What the? I hope there's more than one of these in here, because if there is, I will try one. If not, that's a shelf piece all day long. This, I don't know how many of these have made it to America. Probably very few. What is this? It says it contains milk, wheat, and gluten. That sounds like the ingredients of Vegemite. Vegemite seasoning. Yeah, like what the heck? I agree, Sparrow. Something tastes like leather. It sounds a little weird. Not gonna lie, but that is cool. That was probably free at McDonald's, and that's one of the coolest things that he could have sent. Like, I know it's super common to them over there, but to us, like, you would never, obviously, see anything like that here. Now, we might have something here that would be worth sending over there that they might never see, but I couldn't think of what would. I mean, all the, like, nugget sauces, I think we all get the same ones, I would assume. All right, so we've got some Vegemite and cheese flavored crackers. Arnott's, same ones that make Tim Tams. Yeah. No artificial flavor. Your guys' food's way more healthy than ours too. Like, I'm sure this isn't common stuff. I doubt. Maybe it is. Maybe some of it is. Maybe you can pick up the rice pudding everywhere. I will look at the chat and see what Dan has to say about that. Yeah, are these crackers, or what does it say? Oven baked, not fried, Vegemite and cheese. What are they calling these? Biscuits. They are biscuits. Stored in a cool, dry place in an airtight, light-proof container. All right, I will do that. Oh, I think I got a message from Dan. Hang on. Oh, the shape of the crackers is Australia and Tasmania. Oh. Does it say that on here? Wait a second. Can you find the Tassie shape in your box? Can you find the Tassie shape in your box? So that means Tasmania. Is that Tasmania right there? Because if that is, that looks like Ohio, kind of. The state that I'm right next to. But that's what it looks like to me, is Ohio. But cool. I don't know what Australia's shaped like. Not any of these, I don't think. Does it say which ones are in here? It does not. Maybe there's a list somewhere. I'm interested. The flavored biscuits is wheat, flour, vegetable oil. Vegemite is the flavoring, so that's not even. So the biscuit itself is just flour, vegetable oil. Is that it? And then they add the Vegemite, which contains yeast extract from yeast grown on barley and wheat, 3%. And there's malt extract from barley, corn flour, maize, which is like ground up corn, right? Food color, caramel 3, natural flavor, milk, cheese. Then it says milk again. 1% salt, yeast, baking powder, wheat, starch, and sugar. I can never figure out your guys' nutritional facts. 521 milligrams of sodium per 100 grams, and this is 165 grams. That's not too bad for that whole box then. Wait. Okay, that's the same message. All right. I thought I got a different one. Okay. Set those over there. And these also are coming in, well, flavor you can see. Are these also shapes of... Because these two look the same, except this one, I assume that's Tasmania. There. What are these? 4 and 20. Classic meat pie. Whoa. That's crazy. Are these popular over there, Dan? Like the meat pie variety? And I've got it. Do you guys really like snack on Vegemite as a regular snack item? Is it really? I don't understand I know it's an acquired taste, but I think it's more than just an acquired taste. I think it's quite odd. But to us here in America, it is quite odd. Maybe it is completely normalized. So you guys do like eating Vegemite. It's an acquired taste, I must say. All right, where are we at next here? Oh, a pure Tassie. And this is going to be blackcurrant flavored. Is that concentrate on the bottom? Does that shake up? Oh, that's plastic is what that is. Okay. What is this? It's just a concentrated, not concentrated, but just a pure blackcurrant drink. 100% from local family farms in Tasmania. So that's a locally grown and processed drink in Tasmania, which is awesome. There we go. All right, cool. Oh, no, there's the noodles. Oh, man. That got smashed. Caramilk Wallabies. A golden blend of caramelized white chocolate. All right. I'm going for one of these right now because that sounds really good. And I want something to snack on. This looks like a kid's. More like a kid's snack. But I eat kid snacks all the time, so. Ooh. Ooh. It smells exactly like what you'd think it would. It smells like slightly overcooked white chocolate is kind of what it smells like. It smells like white chocolate, but it smells like caramelized. Exactly like what it is. Yeah, that's not bad. That reminds me of something. Other than just white chocolate. That I've had probably around Easter time. I don't know what that reminds me of, though. Those are good. Dang, there's only 12 of them in there. They're getting stingy with the chocolates and stuff. I've heard. I've seen people shopping. Cadbury was bought out. Kind of recently. They're still labeling everything just straight Cadbury. New Zealand and Australia. I heard that Cadbury was recently bought out, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. That looks right up my alley. Scorched peanut bar. Like burnt peanuts? What is a scorched peanut? Is that just a roasted peanut? I'm curious. A Milo Kit Kat? Is that the Milo? I don't know what Milo is. Is that Milo or Milo? Milo? I don't know what Milo is. Crispy wafer finger with 3 breakable chunks, packed with Milo chocolate malt filling, all covered in deliciously smooth milk chocolate. So that is some sort of chocolate malt. Huh. I don't know what that is. Unfamiliar with what a Milo is. Okay. Ooh. I am out of... You sent... Was it you? I'm sure it had to be you. Or did I buy that myself? I may have bought that myself. I had a thing of chicken salt. But I swear I think I bought it at like Dollar Tree or something. Maybe not. That's a way bigger thing than what I had, though. This stuff is exactly like what you would think it would be. It's perfect if you like chicken ramen, to add a little bit to it. But I mean, chicken ramen's already so salty already anyway. Oh, this is the culprit right here. Now, why would they do that? Like, that was definitely opened by them. That wasn't accidentally smashed and opened. That was ripped open to make sure, I guess. Anyway, me goring, that comes in the CR1Ms. Well, not in a cup like this, or maybe they are putting it in a cup like this now in there. I could see them doing that. But it comes in like a ramen pack. What is this? Soy and mild spice. I think the packages are still in there. Hopefully all of them are still in there. Looks like 1, 2... Might have that tonight, actually. What is this? What is this? Oh. Nestle makes it. Wait, is it the same thing? Is this like a Ovaltine? 30% less added sugar. Nourishing energy. This is like Ovaltine. Didn't we talk about this one time? That is... Oh, that's got a pop top too. This is an old school can. We don't get these over here really. No, I can't think of anything that we have over here. This is a pop top, right? That top pops off? I think so. We can vet Milo here. What's vet Milo here? We can get, I'll bet you meant to say. We can get Milo here. I don't know that I've ever seen this before. I will be looking for it now and see if I can get it, but I can't remember ever seeing it for sale before. Let's see, a glass of Milo's 30% less added sugar, has the yummy chocolate malt Milo taste and crunch that you love. It has a crunch, but no added cane sugar, sweetened with natural stevia. Oh, they went that route. They went with an artificial sweetener. Well, I guess it's natural, but I'll be. Activia Go. Efficient energy release. 8 vitamins and minerals. It's got a nice little list of stuff: riboflavin B2, niacin B3, vitamin B6, B12, Ca, D, calcium A, iron A, phosphorus A, and then we got protein, fat, saturated carbohydrate, sugar, lactose, added sugars, dietary fiber, and sodium. So it is supposed to be somewhat of a nourishing drink, I guess. Okay, Dan was talking about this. Wait, is that just Spam? Wait. Spam and cheese muffin. That's a classic. That's just classic Spam right there. Wait, was this older? Did you say it was old? It is a little old. 2015. We were in that abandoned coal mine town in Pennsylvania. Me and Josh and the whole crew doing that field piece. Here, before I finish, I'll tell you guys this story really quick. Anyway, so those houses, there was probably 20 of them, I'd say, roughly. 3 different rows of houses, and you had like the biggest house there belonged to the boss, and then you had like worker houses, and they were fairly nice. Some of them were duplexes, if I remember right. Maybe not. Maybe they were. I can't remember if they were anyway. Bunch of houses, and we were searching for food. We'd found some old, like the great big Heinz ketchup, the two packs, the great big ones that have like the piece of plastic that binds both of them together on the top. We'd found that, and in the same house, they had 3 cans of Spam, but they were set in the kitchen. The windows were knocked out, and the weather was coming from that direction, I guess, on that, whichever wall that was. The weather seemed to be coming from because there were leaves piled up. You could see where the rain had come in. And one of the cans of Spam that was sitting there was completely rusted out. Like, had just rusted to nothing. And they had been sitting there, was it 1998? I think it was since 98, something like that. And then there was another can that was still sealed, but it was bulged really bad. Like it was double the size of what, like it was probably about that thick. And the top, it hadn't popped open, but it was close. It was right on the edge of rupturing and becoming, an open piece of hazardous food material. And then there was one sitting in the back next to the wall. They were all 3 sitting in the same place, but there was one sitting in the back next to the wall, and it had like if it was 98, then it had like a 1997 date on it. I can't remember if it was 98. It might have been 08. I don't think it was 08 though. Anyway, I pulled that out of there, and I handed it to Josh, and I said, "Dude, I can't believe we found this in here." And the can looked just like this, nice, and looked like it had been stored properly, but we knew it hadn't been. But it wasn't bulged at all. It felt like the top felt like it was sucked in like this one does. And my field producer, his name was Chris, he goes, "I can't let you guys eat that." And I was like, "Dude, that's what we're here for, like, to find food that's edible here that people left behind." I was like, "This is perfect. It looks perfect. I think it is perfect." I was like, "I will try it first before we go anywhere else with it." He's like, "I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should do that." And I finally, after all day, like we were there, it was dark by the time we had gotten, because we shot out of order. It was different. That day was very different than a lot of other days. But I finally wore him down enough to where he let me open it and try it. And that can of Spam was edible. And at that time, let's see, how old would that have been? 20 or 22 years old. It does seem like it was about 20 years old. It didn't make TV though. Didn't make TV because it was super cold. 20s. It was probably in the 20s, and after the sun went down, it had been raining on and off all day. It was nasty outside. We had been there for probably, I don't know, 13, 14 hours at that point by the time he let me dig into this. And unfortunately, leading up to it, we did not do any type of lead-in. I was like, dude, let's try that Spam that we found earlier. And there was no history background. There was no nothing. Like, it was just, hey, I found a can of Spam. Let's try it. So, unfortunately, I ate some really old Spam that didn't make TV, and it was pointless for them anyway. I thought it was pretty cool. Hence why I'm telling you guys this story right now, because I thought that was a very exciting thing to have gotten to do. Go into these abandoned houses that were just kind of upped and left, furniture, pictures. They left, like, we went through one basement that had all like wedding pictures and family pictures and just everything. You know, we didn't go through each house really. I mean, we went and looked for some food, but we didn't go through most of the houses, and you could tell those places were just up and left. It's very odd. But this would be 10 years old. Well, actually, yeah. We are 2 weeks. We're basically 2 weeks away from this being exactly 10 years old, because this has a packed on date instead of a Best Buy date, and then you got to kind of take a guess on when it was packed. That is cool. Huh. Which that would put us at like 2 Saturdays from right now. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to eat it. I don't like Spam, but I'm going to eat it because it's old. Well, it's 10 years old, but it's old by civilian food standards. Spam's one of those foods that you can pack away. All right. Well, this is probably where the smokes were at. Huh. They were probably wrapped up in this. They kind of look like they still got the shape. I can't smell it. It just smells like plastic. But Dan was kind enough to send 2 packs of smokes that he got while he was doing some international travel. Kind of like what Delicious has done. Delicious has picked me up smokes whenever he travels internationally away from his home. And, yeah, they took them. It's international date, format, day, month, year. Wait. Oh. So it's already. I'll be daggone. I didn't think about that, Dan. Thanks for pointing that out. Then it is already 10 years old. We are a month and a half past, or a month and 3 weeks, month and a half past it being 10 years old. Am I correct? Is that right? Okay, so okay. All right, cool. So Dan is this a can that you personally had for 10 years? And you just like found it in the back of your pantry, you stuck it back there and forgot about it? Because you picked up Spam? Because, even I catch myself buying stuff like that on occasion, because I'm like, I'll throw it in the pantry. You never know when you might need it, or when you could possibly use it. And it's not like it's going to go bad, Like, it'll be good years past. That's something you can buy, put in your pantry, and 5 years later be like, man, I need some Spam for this recipe. You can go in there and take that 5-year-old can of Spam, open it up, and use it. Because if it's been in your cool, dry, dark pantry, it will be fine. Okay. No way. Is this like a kettle corn? Sweet and salty. That's like a movie theater box. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen one of these here before. You just throw it in there like that? Or you got to cut this thing? Probably tells you. That is cool. Yeah, I can't. We have some unique popcorn items over here. I haven't bought popcorn for a long time because my kids used to be into it, and they're just not anymore. They're not kids anymore. They both kind of moved out. Man, this really sucks. You sent me one of these before, and it's in pristine condition. I've kept it pristine, and I'm going to see if I can't fix this one. All right. I like to think that I'm halfway decent at manipulating metal. Spent years of my life doing it, learning it with welding machine. But let's see if the lid fits now. That's not bad, other than my fingerprints all over it. It just bent back in a little bit whenever I rubbed it off, but I need to bend that out. Look at that batch of Anzac. Oh, is this open? Or was that noodles? I think it was noodles that fell out of there. No, these are open. What was that? I'm taking one out. I really like these cookies. These Anzac cookies, which were created for the military, right? I bet the story's on here, right? This is the Anzac Commemorative Series. I have that tin around here somewhere because I shared some of these cookies with Gabe last time he was here. On May 7th, 1945, Germans surrendered and the war in Europe was over. On the 8th of May, was declared VE, Victory in Europe Day. But in Australia, the celebration was tempered as the war in the Pacific was still to be won. Australia still had troops fighting the Japanese in the Southeast Asia and the Pacific. And anxious families at home worried for their loved ones. Finally, Japan surrendered on the 15th of August, 1945, and the Second World War was finally over. After nearly 6 years of conflict, loss, and privations, I don't know what that word means. The pent-up emotions poured out of the flood as Australia celebrated freedom on VP Day. The cost of the war had been great. 39,657 Australians passed, and around 30,000 were taken prisoner. Over 8,000 whom died, which were obviously POWs. So, is Anzac Day the 15th of August? What day is Anzac Day? Are usually a bit dry. They're better homemade. Anzacs were made of things that were commonly available and long-lasting during the rationing at home to supplement soldier rations. So, they were actually making these at home and sending these to soldiers to have for rationing needs. I still got to manipulate that tin some more, but it looks a whole lot better than it did. It was smashed. Anyway, yeah, they're a bit dry, but oaty. You can also see there's a lot of like space in there, air kind of. I kind of like them after they've been opened a little bit and let some air get to them, and maybe it's a little humidity that gets to them, makes them a little more chewy. It kind of tastes like it's got a little coconut in it. Do they have coconut in them? I think I have dipped these before. I have no milk right now. My refrigerator is plumb full of leftovers from my little sister's baby shower. Amber made all the, well, not all the food, but a lot of the food. And yeah, I spent a lot of money. Or she spent a lot of my money setting it up, whatever. All they do. I didn't know that. I can definitely taste it, though. I mean, you obviously taste the oats. And it has like a... It's like a coconutty oatmeal spice cookie. Because it's got like a cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar kind of flavoring going on. They're really good. I like them. I know they were made out of necessity, but I don't think they're bad. What's up, buddy? What's up, dude? Come here and see me. Oh. All right, run away from me. Ooh. Uh-oh. That might not be a good thing. There you go, folks. Gotta love the United States government. All right. Well, last but definitely not least, Dan's got us a 24-hour ration pack in here called the Deluxe Go Pack, apparently. I'm still wondering if those are just roasted peanuts. Scorched peanut bar. Hopefully they didn't open this. Doesn't look like they did. Looks like it's still sealed, Dan. Thank God. This is probably the most expensive thing you had in here. I would have to venture to bet that this Deluxe Go Pack, and this is made by On Track Meals, gourmet meals for the outdoors. So, camping food, obviously. But, looks like it might have some military items in there. That's what that packaging looks like. So what's included? It says breakfast, On Track Meals all day breakfast, Lunch, tender lamb and pearl barley. Dinner, wait a second. Dinner, on-track meals steak, on-track meals potato and pumpkin mash. Potato and pumpkin? Snacks, a winner's bar. I don't know what that is. A chief beef biltong. Okay, so some jerky. M&M's, standard. And Arnott's shapes. So like animal crackers. Drinks, you have something called Summit Hydration, I assume. So on-track meals, Summit Hydration. Tea and coffee, sugar and creamer. Oh, they give you some Milo. Oh, I've had Milo. Well, no, I didn't. It was opened. I had a pack of Milo in a CR1M 1 or 2 times, but I think both times it might have been ruined. Excuse me. Bonus, you get, as a bonus, they give you 3 flameless ration heater bags and 3 cutlery sets. Man, I hope there's Australian spoons in those cutlery sets. That'd be awesome. Doubtful with a civilian company like this, though. Man, that thing is... It's a sharp-looking ration. So that's just a piece of cardboard. That's not what they're actual... I thought that's what the meal looked like right there on the front. Huh. It's like rubbed off on the plastic, too, that gold. Can you see that? Huh. I wouldn't think it'd do that. There's your M&Ms. With the Best Buy date of October 21st, 2025. They're still within date. Oh, there's a date on the bottom. Looks like November 26th of 2027 is when they want you to eat this by. Trying to get an idea. I guess it looks like this. Are these freeze-dried or wet? Judging by the weight, I would say likely these are wet retorts, but I can't tell 100%. I think they are. It doesn't say freeze-dried on here, does it? Australian owned and made. Yeah, I've never seen this company before. I know there was that one company that was doing, they were kind of mimicking CR1Ms. What are they called? Oh. You guys probably know the company I'm talking about that makes the mimic of the CR1M. I would not call this a mimic of a CR1M here. What is that right there? What is that at the top right there? Is that the... It says oven baked. Is that the Arnott's shapes? I thought it would be like animal crackers, but it's whatever that is right there. Oh, hey, LC. Daggone. You didn't have to do that. Goodness gracious. Happy birthday, bro. It's Ration birthday week. Me, CT, Mike, you, Dan. Dan's birthday is... Where the time difference... I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day. I don't know if it's Sunday or Monday. But Dan's is also right there with me, and I think CT's is right, maybe the same day. I didn't finish your message. Glad to be here. Thanks for hosting us. Need to get a package in the mail. Mail is partially on strike. Oh, I've heard about the Canadian weirdness going on up there with the postal service. You know you don't have to do that, and you don't have to do any of that. LC, you're way too kind. Seriously. Thank you so much, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. I know June is a big month for the Ration community birthday-wise. There's at least 6 of us. I had that figured up a couple years ago. How many did you just name off? So, me, CT, Mike. So, when is your birthday already happened, or is it coming up? And then Dan. So that's 5. 5? I'm missing somebody. It seems like, yeah, for some reason, that's why I got to thinking about Salty Croc Collectibles earlier, Vince. I think his is this month. Stephanie, thank you. Thank you, guys. Yours is in January. Hunger Buster, yes. That's what yes. That's the company, or what they named the ration. Mostly the same packaging and everything, just some items removed. Yeah, they are kind of light, aren't they? I remember looking at them on eBay and thinking they were missing some pretty important stuff. But thank you for the super chat, Dan. You did not have to do that. Oh, yours is okay. So yours and Tim's is the day after mine, and I think Dan's is the day before mine. I think Dan's is on the 23rd. I think the way that the days work, I think right now Dan is a day ahead of us. And Dan, you said tomorrow, which means for you tomorrow's the 23rd. For me, tomorrow's the 22nd. I think. Yeah. I gotta try these. I gotta try whatever. Let me go grab my nasal spray real quick. Get myself cleared up. You need out, buddy? By the time I walked in there, my nose had cleared up. I wish I had some milk now after eating those cookies. They would really go good with some milk, I think. Okay. Vegemite and cheese first or meat pie first? Let's go with... Yeah, let's go with the meat pie first. It'll probably be a little less offensive. Or not offensive, but potent or pungent. Vegemite is rather pungent when it comes to how harsh the flavor is. It's quite yeasty. All right, here we go. I will put these in a baggie, a big baggie, after this. There we go. That smells like... It smells like meat. It really does. It smells like... Weird. I've had meat pies from Australia. Dan sent me. Which shape is this? It's that one. But I don't know what that is. Alright, let's give it a try. Whoa. That reminds me of something too. Hang on. There's somewhat of a soy sauce smell to them. Cat, you gotta quit, dude. I just tried to let you out. And then there's a whole lot of herbs going on. Like, it's very herby. That tastes so much like the way that you guys spice, like the spices that you put in your meat. Dude. I don't know what to think of these crackers or biscuits. I don't know what I think about these. They're very odd to the American palate. But that tastes so much like something I've had before. And I just cannot put my finger on what it was. Obviously, I could say, well, the meat pies that Dan sent me, but that's not what my brain is referencing. But it's definitely very herby. Soy, yeast extract, beef fat, tomato powder, tea powder, okay, baking powder, cocoa powder, onion powder, spice extracts, herb extract, mushroom extract, and onion extract. Huh. I mean, I definitely pick up on the onion. There's no doubt about that. I'm also picking up on the tomato. The tomato is pretty predominant when it comes to the flavoring on these, I think. Kind of like a... not really, but kind of. A little bit of a ketchup, like powdered ketchup, if you've ever had that before. It's got like a slight tanginess to it. The biscuit itself is very well balanced. It's not sweet, and it's very neutral, I would call it. The biscuit itself isn't savory. The flavoring on it is, but the biscuit itself is very neutral, which in my opinion is what you want. Huh. On to the Vegemite. I got a good idea what these are going to taste like. Especially now that I've had the other. I know what the biscuit base is kind of like. What's up, Tim? Ooh, these look a lot more flavored. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't really smell like Vegemite though. It smells more like salt, like salty. You know when you can smell salt? Like you know it's salty? It smells like, what is that? I'm picking up on a little bit of onion powder. Huh. It's a savory scent, but nowhere near as savory as the meat pie ones. All right. Kind of a bat-shaped. I assume that's Australia? I don't know. No clue. All right, here we go. Down the hatch, though. Hmm. I don't think that tastes like Vegemite. I don't know what that tastes like, but it kind of reminds me of like those snack crackers. I don't think Ritz. They might be a Ritz, like a chip, kind of like a chip cracker. They come in a bag, and you eat them kind of like chips. That's kind of what these biscuits remind me of. They have a very similar flavor to that snack cracker that we have here. They are salty, but not overly so. They also have like a slight soy flavor in the kind of like in the front on the palate. My neighbor's telling me there's somebody up there messing around my restaurant building. He said, the guy looked like he was tweaked out. I think, hang on, I think I got some of them crackers. I want to look and see if they look the same. I don't eat them, Amber does. You got some of them cracker things that you eat? Whatever. I think these are pretty similar. Yeah, they're Ritz. Toasted. They call them chips, but these are cracker things. In reality, I don't think I've ever eaten one of these. But see how. Hang on. Mm-hmm. They both have like a really slight sweetness that comes through on the back end. But yeah, as far as like not the flavoring, but the actual cracker itself reminds me of this. Man, oh man, you can really tell the difference eating an American snack versus eating one of these, because our stuff is so over flavored and like it's probably got MSG all over it, and yeah, the flavor enhancer. Anyway, I think these are pretty good though. These are a little harder. The Ritz ones soften up easier, but really not that much Vegemite to this, to be honest. Dan sent me a message. Oh, okay. Wait a second. This one's supposed to be the Australian shape. That's the one that I had out a second ago. This one, I don't know. I don't know what that one is, but... And then that one's Tasmania. Right? New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia. Where's... Yep, I see it down there. See it, well... Can't zoom in, but... See? Kind of shaped like Ohio down there. That's Tasmania, I assume. And on this one, they have that one in this box. And in this box, they do not. Flavor of footy? Football? Like American football? Is that what that is? Footy? Alright, now you got me wondering what the heck. Oven baked, not fried. Yeah, I think these things over here that I just showed you are also baked, not fried, as well. That tastes like something I've had in a ration before. What the heck? My food memory is not working very well tonight. Well, I just put that 2 and 2 together. Alright, what else should I try tonight? I don't know how I'm going to fix these up, because the way that package is opened on the seam way down here, you see that? Just kind of split open. I'm taking at least another couple of these out of here. For later. Let them sit over here. I guess I'll just try folding this over for now. I don't know. Alright. Kind of want to... Did I just... Okay, I thought I had another one down in there. Yeah, that's going on the shelf, for sure. I've got a good idea of what it would taste like, but that's a pretty big pack. 5 grams of it? That's a lot, is it not? This has to be super concentrated and very, very Vegemite-y. I'm going to have to get my hands on more of them. Alright, I got to try this thing, because I'm imagining it's just a roasted peanut in caramelized toffee, with caramelized toffee. It's broken into 3 pieces, so I'm going to take it that it's hard. Likely. Where's the short piece at? It's on this end. Take a short piece. Come on. Oh, didn't open the way I wanted it to. It's not perfect. It's not going to. Try one more time. There we go. It came open. This looks to me... Oh. That's got like the honeycomb type toffee in it. And that does look like dry roasted peanuts. It smells like these things that we have. They're just called peanut bars. They're They sell them at the checkout. A lot of places, like little teeny tiny, they'll sell them still to this day for like a nickel or 10 cents or something. You can buy 10 of them for $1. They're just little peanut, I think they're called peanut bars. Maybe not, though. Might be called something else. They ain't got no toffee in them, I don't think. Maybe they do. They might have something in them. I don't know. This is making my mouth water, though. So, peanut butter bars. Yes, that's it. Mike, correct. Yes. Those little tiny ones. You know the ones I'm talking about. At the checkout, they sell those little tiny ones, and then they sell them in the box, like movie theater style. And then they sell... I think they sell a big bar that has like a bunch of little ones in it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, though. All right, I want to try this scorched peanut bar. Where's this thing made at? Made in Australia. Proudly. Right there. Well displayed. By Cook's Confectionery. And it doesn't say exactly where at in Australia, but a little out of date. November 24th, so Thanksgiving Day last year. All right, let's give it a try. That's hard. Toffee's really crunchy. It's not like sticky and taking on moisture. Honestly, the peanuts don't do much for it. Melting in my fingers. So the chocolate has very little influence on the taste of this bar. It's there for a few seconds in the very beginning, and then it's gone. Mainly, it's the toffee. I mean, the peanuts are there for chew, but they don't influence the flavor a lot either. Kind of reminds me of a peanut bar. If you guys have ever had those, maybe you haven't because they're made by Lance. And I think that's more of an Ohio, more of like a local thing. It used to be my favorite snack to find. Was I'd buy the whole 6-pack of the bars. They used to sell them at Walmart too. Full-size candy bars. Back in the day, it used to be $3 to buy a 6-pack of the full-size candy bars. And I would smash them up. Like smack them against the table a few times and break them into little pieces. Little bite-sized pieces. It's very much so what that reminds me of. Because it's a toffee. It's just peanuts and toffee, the peanut bar is. And this has got a very thin layer, you can see how thin it is, of chocolate added to it. And it would be the same thing. The toffee tastes very similar. Alright. Let's move on to the Milo. Here, I'm going to save this piece right here. Up here, and I will eat that in a minute. Alright. You know what? Since this is already open, we're gonna make this. Maggie's the brand now. I think this is missing a lot of noodles. Is it? Is it missing a whole bunch of noodles? Is there other stuff down in there? It looks like they took it out of this cup and then put it back in. I swear. And I think that's supposed to be the water line right there, but I think we're missing a bunch of noodles. So I'm just going to put the water up to about right there. And that should be good. We'll put all the sauces in there and maybe use some chicken salt as well. Actually, let me see if I got any of my chicken salt left. I wonder if it's much different. Probably not different. Bring out your food's natural flavors with Matani, specially selected blend of herbs and spices. All right, let me go put some water to this. I do have chicken salt. I thought I just picked up a thing of this. Okay, so that's what I got going on in there. I just submerged the noodles. I'm going to drain a lot of that off. I'm just going to let the noodles set for about 2 minutes. And then here is my chicken salt. Yeah, I just got this pretty recently. Man, is it packed down in there? It's not coming off the bottom. Huh. Well, that's starting to come off of there. What is it? Your F-250 wouldn't like $4.50 a gallon? I'll bet it would love it. Loves any gas they get. They love to chug it down. I know that truck I just got. I mean, I think the last time I put my foot to the floor in that thing, I could watch the gas gauge go down. And my Dodge Challenger out there, I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but that thing does really good on gas. There, I finally got it to come off the bottom. Alright. I think I got another thing of chicken salt in there too. More noodles just fall out of this stupid thing. This is soy and mild spice. Alright, I'm going to go drain this. Be right back. I think this is probably only about half of the serving. If I was to take a guess, Dan would probably know better, but Steak without mushrooms is like cereal without milk. Really? You're a big mushroom person, huh? I'm, you know, I can eat them, but I can also leave them. Yeah, I don't need them. I don't have scissors handy, but I do have this razor blade, which should... Oh, come on. Cut through both. So we got chili and soy and mild spice mix. And here we have soy sauce and seasoning oil. Never can get these all the way out. It's kind of a tragedy, somewhat. Let me squeeze them down here some. And I am going to get scissors for this one, because I think squeezing them both out at the same time is key, but they're set up to tear them long ways, probably so you can get them out a little better. But I think it's better to squeeze them both out like toothpaste. All right. And we will make a week of the ration that Dan sent. Oh, I'm about to make a mess. All right, here we go. Man, that sweet soy is hard to get out. Goodness. Looks like some really thick chocolate syrup. Alright, let's mix it up. I hope that was all that was supposed to be added to this. And I like my noodles al dente. I don't know about you guys. I like them to be on the underdone side. Taking in a dark color. Really get them mixed up here. Hit them with some chicken salt. I mean, that soy sauce is salty as I'll get out. But with meat goring, it's important that you have a dry noodle. From everything that I've learned and been told about these noodles, you do not leave water in them like you do when you make ramen. When you make ramen, I usually drain mine down about, I don't know, roughly, I'd say about 40% covered. So I would still have about that much water still in here. When it comes to these, I drained it basically all the way out. I left just a slight amount of moisture in the bottom just so they wouldn't be like mega dry. Because if you do it the way you're supposed to do it, they do get dry and hard to mix up when you add sauces and stuff to them. All right, let's add a little chicken salt. Actually, I'll add that in a second. Let me take a bite the way it's supposed to be. Soy and mild spice down the hatch. Really nice texture on the noodle. Perfectly al dente. So I didn't overcook those. That's great. Slightly sweet, savory. The soy is definitely the predominant flavor there. As far as the spices go, picking up a lot on the onion powder. Maybe some garlic. And that's mainly what I'm picking up on. Add a little of this chicken salt to the mix. Okay. See it on the top there. Let's see if that helped it or hurt it. I didn't put a bunch in there and mix it up because I want to see if it helps it or hurts it. Oh my gosh. So that's good, but wow, is it salty. Yeah, I'm going to add some and mix it in. Not too much because it really don't need it. Dan, I must say, I would eat these recreationally. I'm not a big fan of soy usually, but that's, I don't know, this isn't like eating just soy sauce with like I don't know, sushi. Is what I think of whenever I think of soy sauce. That's where I usually have some soy sauce. And what's the green stuff I eat that too? What is the green stuff? I can't remember. I'm telling you, my brain is not working. Wasabi. Thank you, Spicy. Adding no more of that than I added to this. I definitely made it what most would consider to be overly salty. I consider it to be overly salty. I shouldn't have put it in there. You know how, like, when you can, like, I don't know, inhale and you can tell that there's too much sodium there, or iodized salt. Maybe it, because iodized salt is different. It seems like to me. Something weird about it. Kind of getting that from my mistake here. They're the perfect temperature to eat right now, though. I mean, they could be a little bit hotter, but nice and hot. Not very sweet, which I'm not a big... I don't like my noodles to be sweet. I think any type of sweet noodle is just weird. I don't think noodles are supposed to be sweet. Makes me think of like that movie Elf, where he puts like M&Ms and maple syrup all over top of spaghetti. It's like, ugh, so gross. Kind of like to see him put cups like this in CR1Ms, but it's just more plastic, man. Plastic is definitely something we need to get away from. One-time use plastic, soda bottles, stuff like this, plastic silverware, which I'll reuse as much as I can. Usually until it breaks. They end up getting brittle after I wash them a few times. Jason asked, anybody in California, has the price of food increased? Meaning, since when? Because if you look at since 2020, I'm paying about double for everything right now. Not everything, but overall, if you factor it all up, we're paying roughly about 40% more, 33 to 40% more. Farm work's nearly all gone. Produce markets are basically empty. Why is that? I mean, I know that America stopped planting female plants because they didn't want to clean up the fruit and the mess. But like here, we got a place we call the Bottoms. It's tomato fields. Plenty of tomatoes. Locally grown blackberries. You can get locally grown beef and stuff like that. $3 for a pound of tomatoes. Like cherry tomatoes or something. I could see that. But like regular sized tomatoes, like that's ridiculous. We all just need to start growing our own food. Plain and simple. Right, that ain't right. That ain't right. Dan messaged me again. Well, I just got a whiff of fresh air, like come through this window or something. Huh. Weird. I need something to drink. And Dan sent me this. But well, that thing comes with a bunch of drink mixes, so this would be appropriate for right now. I've tried everything except the coconut rice pudding, which I could eat that right now. If you whatever you want me to do, Dan, I'm game. Excuse me. I'd like to have some more people around to open the ice cream because I probably couldn't eat all that right now, and it will go downhill quickly. It is. It's kind of humid here. It's kind of humid. So should I open this or save it to go along with the ration? Because I could make a thing of this. I think I can just pop this open. I'm not sure. Use my... Yeah, I figured just heck with it. We'd have stuff you sent tonight. You know? Calling it the birthday box, I'm going to eat what you sent. Let me see here. Ugh. Do I need a screwdriver? This is not gonna, I don't think it's gonna do it. Oh, there it is. See that? Oh, look at that. Huh. How about that? I didn't know they did this. How do they even do that? They must seal it, and then they fill it like this, and then they put this... Maybe? I don't know how else they'd seal that like that. Huh. let's see. 3 heaped teaspoons to 200 milliliters, which I think is what a bottle of water is. Is it not? Oh no, that's 500 milliliters. What the heck? Wow. How many's in this can? How many of those will it make? It's supposed to be crunchy too, though. I'm going to try this. It makes the most sense to me to try this, I think. I don't know how to open it. Just take my pocket knife and shove down in the, like, go around the edge. This is extremely popular in Southeast Asia places. Oh, really? So this is kind of like Ovaltine was here back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Oh, I almost hate to open it, but here we go. Someone said I could get this stuff here. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but here we go. All right, I'm going to try that a little bit right there off the knife. I want to see what the crunchy and stuff is. I just want to try the powder. Here we go. What the heck? That doesn't taste anything at all like what I thought it would. Okay. Hey, wait a second. Is this supposed to be hot or cold water? What does that say? Cold or hot, not boiling. Okay, so hot, like hot cocoa? Alright, so we're going to use our Tim Tam cup that Dan sent. And here, Australian spoon. Is this the right size? I don't know. I'm going to give it 3 heaping spoonfuls. Alright, that should be good, right? That's a lot of powder. Look. That's a lot of powder. Okay. Put this lid on. Alright, that clipped right back down on there. That's good. Let me go get some water. We'll fill the water up to about right there. About halfway. I think that should be roughly... No, that won't be 2, will it? Yeah, a little over half. What did Dan say? That's got to be Dan. Doesn't dissolve well. Liquefy it, hot water, then top it off. I ain't got no milk, unfortunately. So it's got to be all water. But I'll keep it low on the milk. I'm gonna have it as hot cocoa. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna use hot water. And if I have to, I'll add a little bit of cold back to it. Okay. I don't think I went overboard with the water. I think I was quite conservative with the water. Give it a stir. Wow, it's already dissolved. Holy, I didn't even have to stir it. Maybe I didn't put enough in there. I think it looks about right though, right? Looks pretty close to me, I'd say. It's really hot. And I think I probably should cool it down a bit. Well, before I try it, did I stick that fork in my back pocket? What did I do with that? What did I do with that noodle thing? Huh. What the heck did I do with the empty noodles? Did I carry it to the kitchen? I don't think I did. Oh, here it is. Whoopsie. Alright. I am in the mood for a good smoke tonight. Trying all this new stuff out here. Which I like that caramelized white chocolate thing. That's the Wallaby. The caramilk Wallaby. It reminds me of something that I ate in my childhood. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it tastes similar. Oh, I definitely, anybody wants to make me a meal, I'd be honored to have it. I'd really like to get a restaurant started up. My son thinks he's ready to have and run a restaurant, but I'm not so sure that he's... I mean, he can run like a chain restaurant. He's been doing that. But putting the whole shebang on him, cooking, ordering, coming up with the menu, everything, I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for all that. I'd really like to have a vintage smoke. Hang on. What do I got over here? I think I got some in here. I have one of these vintage Pall Malls. What the heck? Okay, there we go. I will have to find another pack of matches. That's okay. Almost bought a bar and restaurant. I almost bought a bar too. There was a bar right down the road. And I'll be honest, like, I couldn't have the alcohol as being part of my day-to-day / family routine, getting them, and I couldn't do it. I knew that would end up turning out bad. So I opted to not partake or not purchase that place because, well, you know, it would have started making me money almost instantly. Bars are kind of dead, though, around here. Oh, it was on Route 66. How cool would that have been? Man, Route 66 is making a little bit of a comeback. I feel like Route 66 will never completely die off, but it will also never support the type of brick and mortar, small business, small motels, small hotels, like it used to. I know there's still quite a few up and down through there that have been around for decades, maybe even a century. But I mean, it isn't what it used to be, you know. I watch that Fry Burger guy sometimes from Roadkill, and he frequents driving down 66 quite a bit and visiting those smaller, like just the smaller places and stuff. Would you marinate? Hang on. Jeez. Wait, what's your favorite steak? Yes, and Dan, reading back through here, we will have a ration meetup at my cafe. It's not going to be a cafe by that time. By that time, it will be studio, 1-bedroom luxury apartment upstairs. But that's all in the works. The restaurant may or may not be done by that time. I mean, likely it won't be, because the restaurant right now has taken it's taken a back seat to everything else because I got a lot of other stuff going on. But that could change. That my focus could change to prioritizing. I mean, a really nice vintage non-filter Pall Mall. It's up there with being one of the better ones that you can get your hands on, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I've had bad, vintage non-filters. Like they're out there. Pall Mall is not one of them. If Pall Mall is even remotely decent and not ate up by bugs or something, it's probably going to be pretty good. Super smooth, really robust, lots of flavor. When you smoke one of these, it's like you're smoking a cigarette. It's proper. It's what it's supposed to be. I feel like this is what having a good cigarette's supposed to be. I'm not a big cigar guy. I've smoked plenty of them over the years. I've tried different kinds. I've had Cubans before. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. Cigars are kind of disgusting. But that's my opinion. And I understand they're like a lot of other things. They're an acquired taste. So it's something you just acquire an affinity for over multiple times, I guess, smoking them. But, again, I can smoke a cigar. It's just, I don't see the appeal, really. I'd much rather have a really nice, well-aged vintage cigarette over a cigar any day. They are. Yes, I agree. Jason says Cuban cigars are overrated. Dominican Republic cigars, he prefers a Dominican Republic cigar over a Cuban. Not much difference, really. There's so many variables, just like tobacco, there's not as many variables because they go flavoring cigars and they go like the moisture levels when they're wrapped and how they were stored really affects the cigars. And heck, a lot of times you'll see that the leaf that they use for that stuff, it'll end up having some sort of like mold spores in it, and I don't know. There's a lot of variables when it comes to cigars that do affect them dramatically versus tobacco is very well dried, and you don't have to worry about those moisture levels as much. It's like putting cigarettes in the freezer is not really that great of an idea. Not for long term, or if you planned on taking them out and like, say you stored cartons in there and you take the carton out, it's going to draw moisture. And it's going to affect, because they're going to sweat when you take them out, and they will absorb some of that moisture. And I'm not a fan of doing that. I know some people are, they're just set in their ways and they still do it. I think Amber's dad still does it. He smokes cools. He got bit by a tick and got that, it's the name of a person, that something disease where he can't have dairy, he can't have meat, he can't have anything really. That, like, I don't know what he's eating. He's lost a whole bunch of weight. I can't remember what that's called. What's the disease called when you get bit by a tick and you can't eat meat or dairy or other foods?
Here's an answer from healthline.com.
Alpha-gal syndrome, often referred to as red meat allergy, is caused by tick bites. That's not it. That's not it. I don't think that's it, because he can't have cheese. He can't have milk products of any kind. He can't have. She listed off it. He can't have anything. So, after him getting this and doing some research, there's been a few people around here that had it, that went to this acupuncturist down the road here, and they stick a needle in your ear for 2 to 3 weeks, I believe it is, or maybe it's 2 to 3 months. I don't know. It's a while. It's a long time. But apparently, they've had great success with this acupuncture curing this disease or syndrome, whatever it is. I think alternative methods of treatment are neglected and not focused on nowhere near enough. I think that's something we need to get ourselves back to. I know there's a bunch of herbalist books and stuff that were written hundreds of years ago. That's the type of stuff. Obviously, there's a place for modern medicine. I'm not saying there's no place for modern medicine. Antibiotics are good sometimes. Most of the time they're not, but sometimes they are. When you take antibiotics, it completely kills everything that you have in your gut that you need. All the enzymes, everything that you have that breaks down food, antibiotics kills. And I didn't realize it was such a big deal. And they had me on and off of antibiotics, the strongest antibiotics known to man. Had a PICC line in my arm right there, running straight, and right there's where it was sewed. So it was sewed to my arm in multiple places because it was right there. My bicep ends are right there, and it was right. You could watch it go in and out when I'd bend my arm, and they had it all wrapped up and taped up, and they had this big cover over top of it, this clear piece of adhesive cover over top of that PICC line. And the first time that nurse went to take that off there, I have a different kind of skin than most people, and it was extremely painful taking that off there. And my skin turned red, and from that point on, we had to get special bandages, and it was, it sucked. It sucked. A lot of that sucked. While I was on that, well, I guess before I was on that, I'd lost 60 pounds. Didn't even know it. I had no idea that I had lost 60 pounds. I just lost 65. Lost 65 pounds. My jeans from when I was in 9th grade, which I still had some of my old jeans, were too big on me. The whole tick thing, I don't remember stuff like this when I was growing up. Do you guys remember stuff like this happening when we were growing up? Like, I mean, I remember checking ourselves for ticks and stuff, but I remember as a kid getting ticks on me, and I'm like being on me long enough to swell up. You know what I mean? Like they on me for a day or whatever, had been on me for a minute, long enough to suck enough blood for them to swell up. Now, even animals, like the cats, I got to check them all the time, make sure they ain't got ticks on them, because it don't make them sick. It could kill them. I don't know, man. Just things are weird. Single parent, as a single parent, I want to make sure I'm never in a place where I can't be there for your kids. Yeah. I'll tell you something else too. Like, once your kids grow up, become adults, and they go out, they leave the nest, it sucks. It sucks. Our oldest moved out years ago now, and our youngest, he's been at the beach last week. He went and took a trip with his new girlfriend to the beach, and yeah, it sucks not having him around. Hadn't bit you yet. See, that's the thing, Tim. Now, like, even if they just bite you, and like say they bite you and move on, like it's crawling up your arm, it bites you and doesn't latch on, it just bites you and moves. That can even make you incredibly sick. Again, I don't remember this growing up. Let me tell you a couple other things that I've noticed. And if I point these out, maybe you haven't noticed them, maybe you have noticed these things. Number one, I've talked about this before. I never see grasshoppers anymore. It's been 3-4 months ago, I saw a nice, great big grasshopper. First one I had seen in I don't know how long. It's been a while ago. And I thought, it made me start thinking, like, I never see grasshoppers anymore. And I've been looking ever since then. I see crickets, but not like I used to see them. But I never see grasshoppers. And I went out, I got a hay field out back here, and I got, up to my yard. I got a big yard. I went out looking for them. Nothing. That's number one. Number two, something's up this year. Something has changed this year. There could be a natural explanation for it. I'm not saying there's anything to it. There probably is, but lightning bugs. Used to be when you go outside when it started getting dark, there'd be hundreds, thousands of them just coming up out of the ground, taking off, flying, lighting up. Now, when I go outside around that time, you're lucky to see 5 or 10, if that. Usually I just see a couple lighting up, like one going up in a tree, and then I might see another one. That's it. I mean, obviously I'm not standing out there watching for an hour, but in that couple minutes, used to be you'd see hundreds of them. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not many June bugs. What's a June bug? I mean, I've heard the term June bug, but I don't know. Oh, you mean beetles? We call them beetles. The little, like, shiny shelled beetles. Is that what a June bug is? So, you saw an article lately saying this may be the last generation that we would be able to see fireflies. What? Why? Have they polluted the ground so much with chemicals at this point that nothing can live? So I was thinking. Now I don't know if this could even be cruel if I do this, but I thought about going. I'm sure I can go buy grasshoppers, and I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for them to reproduce if I set them up an ecosystem, right? Where I just grow grasshoppers and let them loose. Let them loose out in the field. Let them loose out in the yard. You know what I mean? What sounds like a scare tactic? Oh, the no more fireflies. Smokey, where I live, it sometimes lightning bugs I sometimes see lightning bugs by a creek. Well, I mean, I see it. I see a few, but last year, the year before, even they were still thick. Probably not as thick as they like when I was a kid. I remember walking out through the yard and just snatch one, throw it in a jar, snatch one, throw it in a jar, snatch one. And it was cruel what I'd do because I'd leave them in that jar, take them to the house, I'd poke lids in the metal lid of the jar, but most of them would die by the next day. You know, that was definitely not cool of me to do. Recently got some shaving soap from World War II, Germany. Oh, you're yet to use it. So it's it's actually a bar of soap that you're supposed to lather up and then shave with. I've seen somebody had a case of that a couple years ago, and they sold them off bar by bar on eBay. Pretty cool stuff. I wonder what it smells like. I wonder if it's like scented or not. It's probably not scented on purpose to not give away your position. Because, I mean, odors like that, you can smell them from a pretty good little distance if you're used to smelling nothing but man body odor, like typical man body odor, and you know you don't have scents that you're using. Like when somebody uses something scented, that smell can carry for quite a ways. Oh, and it's a bar of, it's basically just a bar of soap. It's just lather it up on your hand and then just put it all over your face. The shaving kits, the ones that they used to give out from commissary and stuff, that would come with that, and it'd come with a disposable razor. Now they also had kits where they kept, like I've still got my grandpa's Schick razor, or Gillette. I can't remember if it's Gillette or Schick. I think it's Schick. I've still got his World War II razor that was actually his razor. It's just a chrome, all metal handle. The top unscrews off of it, and you can take it apart. And then there's a screw in the middle where you loosen it and you put your blades in. Williams no longer made shaving soap, old school. I have like 2 or more than 700 double blade razors. Wait, you got some of the blades that go in the razors? 700 of them? Once I got a place to display stuff like that, I'll start picking up kits and stuff like that, because I'd like to set up at least a World War II like diorama type setup. I want to do a full size, like 2 mannequins sitting around a fire. Have a fake fire with like like lights and the like fan that blows the flames up, and have them cooking the rations on that, kind of sitting down maybe on like a sea ration crate or something. I think it have mess kits and stuff like that from World War II. I think it'd be cool. Canteen, proper uniforms. I wish I'd have got stuff like that from my grandpa, if he even still had it. I know he had a uniform that he put on when we go to funerals, but it wasn't his service uniform. Obviously, I'm sure he couldn't fit in his service uniform. He was probably almost twice the size. I mean, my grandpa was never fat, but he got just bigger with age, What is it? Hair row. It does have a floral scent. Interesting. I don't know, but I think if we could all, how many people have even recognized that the grasshoppers are gone? How many people have even recognized that lightning bugs are extremely thin this year? Like, I think that we could intervene and do something. This seems like something pretty simple that we could do something about if they can survive in this environment. That's the thing. Obviously, there's something going on where they're not. The survivability must be low. Yeah, camouflaging a floral scent. I can think of a few ways to do that, but none of them are pleasant. So you still got a ton of grasshoppers up there. We do not here. I'm telling you, there's like nothing here. And it's weird. And it's been that way for at least a few years, because I don't know how long it was like that before I noticed. You know? Because, I mean, I noticed it before. Oh, hey, I forgot about this. Grasshopper soup. No, we had canned grasshoppers. That guy that was in, what was it, the Frankenstein movie? They come out with this like weird novelty lines of food. He made canned grasshoppers, or I think I have a can of them even. So that's got kind of like almost like a dryness, like a tea has, like when the tannins are high. It almost has like a dry texture to it. It's not very sweet. I mean, it's sweet, but not by American standards. It's quite mild when it comes to its sweetness, and it's stevia sweetened, not sugar. Which I prefer them just to use like real sugar. The chocolate flavoring is unique to me. It's different. It definitely leaves behind like this dry yet weird coating in your mouth. There's no crunch left in it, if that was supposed to be there, which apparently it is supposed to be crunchy. But I mean, if it's actually good for you in some way, and you're getting nourishment from it that isn't like typical chocolate milk fashion or Yoo-hoo fashion, whatever. Yeah, this is not bad. It's a whole lot better than them protein drinks that are coming in the MREs now. Like an upgraded version of Yoo-hoo, I wouldn't draw hardly any parallels as far as taste goes to Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo's... So I didn't know this, but basically Yoo-hoo is, if you take the liquid chocolate syrup, like Hershey's chocolate syrup, and only add water to it, not milk, that's basically what Yoo-hoo is. I didn't know that, but apparently that's what it is. It does have kind of that grittiness must be what was going to be the crunchy stuff. When I say grittiness, it's a texture, and it's quite viscous in a thin way, like a thin viscous texture to it. It does kind of feel like you're eating your drink. Does that make sense? Oh, locusts are a type of grasshopper? I didn't know that. Yeah, we ain't got really any locusts around here either. We had a few last year that I seen, and then there might be some come around or something. But I think they were having a problem up in Sandusky, up around Cedar Point or Kings Island. One of the theme park places was having a real issue. Yeah, because the water park that was right next to either Kings Island or Cedar Point, one or the other, like the water park was just, all the water was full of locust. Nope, I have not chopped it. It's still, it's right there. Might just be this. Oh, you cut your beard. Yeah, I don't know. One of these days, I'm going to cut mine. One of these days, it's in the works. One of these days, I ain't seen my face in years. I don't know what's underneath there. Kind of afraid to find out. Like, I try to envision what I'd look like. I'm going to look old, maybe. I think the beard probably makes me look older. Let's be honest. I'd say it probably does. Oh yeah, my face will definitely get me cold. It's like the only smoke I know. I've had it the whole time I've been doing YouTube. So, because well, after I got hurt and I was laid around basically bedridden for a long time, I couldn't stand in a mirror and shave, and it was the least of my worries. I didn't like that was. I had no interest in standing in a mirror and shaving. I couldn't take a shower. Had to have people help me take a bath. It sucked. It sucked pretty bad. What's that? Brushwood shrimp? I mean, I know that crickets and grasshoppers are a good source of protein. I know that they can be cooked up to where they're, dare I say, fairly tasty. After you get over the stigma and the aversion to eating bugs. I mean, I've eaten bugs before, bugs, insects, whatever, and most of the world eats bugs on a daily basis. It's just part of their diet. You know, I hope that crickets are living and thriving, and grasshoppers are living and thriving in other parts of the world, but I'm saying they've done something to this country. Look, they've been spraying chemicals out of airplanes for decades now. This started after 9/11, and there's something to that. I mean, I could tell you, I've watched some documentaries about them doing soil tests. They started doing soil tests started off on this farm, and they found a bunch of aluminum in the soil that shouldn't have been there. Now, that metal would be there had that land been farmed a certain way, but it hadn't been. So they expanded their search to other soil, and they started moving outward and finding super high levels of these metals, mainly lots of aluminum. Couldn't figure it out. So what they decided to do was go up this mountain that number one, is too high to farm. Okay, you're above the tree level, nothing will grow up there. Oxygen's too thin. Not enough oxygen, right? They went up there and got a soil sample. And when they did, they came up with the same results. It was littered with heavy metals and aluminum, lots of aluminum. And just that one thing right there, if it is this micro aluminum that is released in just tiny particles that are small enough for us to breathe in, they're in the air, we can't even see them. They're minute. If we're getting this into our body, and you think about, I remember back, it was probably about 8-9 years ago, we went to Amber's dad's for Thanksgiving. And not long before then, I had noticed all these towers popping up all over the place. And I mentioned it to Amber, and I was like, let's count these things while we're going and see how many of these 5G towers are popping up all over the place. And I think we counted 30 that we could see. It's not that far. Those 5G towers are everywhere. And they create this invisible radio signal, microwaves, all around us so that our phones work on 5G technology. What happens if you put aluminum into a microwave? What happens? Or any metal for that matter. And you turn that microwave on. It starts throwing sparks. It looks like lightning. Well, reduce that down to a very low level. And I think that's what's happening. And I think that's one of, not the only, I think that's one of the reasons why cancer is, cancer cases are shooting through the roof. That's just one of the reasons. There's all the chemicals in our food, all the dyes in our food. Sedentary lifestyles. Our food is a huge issue. Our food is a huge issue, which they consciously changed and targeted our food around 1987, 1988, according to basically all the information that you can find that's out there of what processes were used before 1987-88 and after 1987-88, and the petroleum-based chemicals that were put in them. And every medication that we take is petroleum-based. You can get down the line of petroleum-based products that are just our clothing, our anything that, I guess, our hair care products, our just about anything that you use hygiene-wise. So so we have been off of tap water here, my household, for roughly 20 years. First of all, my water here is absolutely horrible. I could show you reports that they are by law required to send out to us. You can't boil out what's in our water. It actually, if you boil the water here, it just concentrates down and makes it worse, the crap that's in our water. And it's, again, I've got reports that tell you this. About 20 years ago, Alex is about 4 years old. I was still a young, dumb kid myself, like 21, 22, somewhere along in there. Alex used to always, he was a water drinker. He liked to drink water. And I was always giving him water out of the tap. I'd fill him up a cup, get some ice out of the fridge. There you go, son. Or he'd get it himself. 3 or 4 years old, like we had a step stool. He'd get it, step up on that step stool so he could use the sink and get it himself. Well, he's about 4 years old, and he started breaking out in these, what I would call welts. He was getting them on the flat parts of the arm right here, on his thighs, on the fronts of his thighs, and on his cheeks. So any large surface area of his body, the front facing, this like sun facing side, he was getting these big welts covering his legs, covering his face, covering his arms. Every evening he would go to bed. Now his body, his kidneys would filter all this out, and he would wake up normalized the next day. It would go away after sleeping. We went through our house, tore everything apart, took all of his bedclothes, took all of his toys. We went through and Lysol wiped and Lysoled and put toys in the bathtub, let them soak. We did everything that we could think to do because we couldn't figure out what was causing it. We had done everything at this point. And we were sitting there in our living. We lived in apartments back then, just right up the road here. We were sitting in our apartment one day after we had done all this stuff. And he said, "Hey, Dad, I want some water." I said, "Well, get it, Alex." He was about 4, like I said. And he could get it himself, but he was wanting me to get up and get it for him. I said, "Well, just get it, buddy." And I don't know why, like what made me think, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, "No, stop. Don't drink any more of that tap water. Don't drink any more water from this point on." And I kid you not, from that point on, he never broke out again. And it probably went on for a week or two, somewhere along in there. The water was causing him to break out like that. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, obviously, there was no way. We didn't send it off to be tested back then. We didn't take him to the doctor even. He wasn't sick. He had these breaking out in these welts, and we were trying to take care of it by doing everything that we could. And then after I took the water away from him, and from that point on, I bought bottled water. From that day forward, I bought bottled. That's all he had was bottled water. From that day forward. Some tap water isn't bad. Like, there are certain places. New York City apparently now has one of the cleanest tap waters that you can get. Apparently. That's what I was told. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that would be true, but then again, yeah, I could see that being true. See, because of Stella, we wouldn't let Stella have tap water. Because, well, every once in a while, she wanted to drink out of the bathtub all the time. Like, turn the faucet on, and she wanted to drink directly from the tap. She did that a lot. And then she got sick, and we thought maybe it was the water again that was making her sick. So, which we had taken the water. We had bottled water for her before that anyways. We got one of them water dispensers for the 5-gallon jugs, and we'll go refill those jugs at Walmart, or there's a water place down the road in Galpliss where we go, and we'll refill them. It's only $1 per jug. I think it's $1.05. It's something. It's cheap. So we started bottled water only. But we've always bought bottled water. And it's so counterproductive because of the wasted plastic. Now, I'll refill plastic bottles with that big 5-gallon jug dispenser. But still, I mean, the wasted plastic bottles of water is just, it's madness. Madness, the amount of plastic that we're going through on a daily basis. It's the one thing, it's the one thing I believe, personally, if we don't fix that issue, that is going to affect everyone's life sooner rather than later. Now, the only other thing that I think might affect everyone's life outside of a stupid war popping off, that's different. The only other thing that I think might affect everyone's day-to-day life, other than the plastic that we're just burning through like crazy, and I know a lot of people, a lot of it ends up in the ocean, let's be honest, or it gets buried, or it gets burned. That one kid who's making plastic into diesel, or gasoline, sorry, makes it into gasoline. Maybe it is diesel, I don't know. Fuel for a vehicle. That kid's got the idea. But the government and the big oil won't allow it to happen. They won't allow it to happen. We got plenty of plastic that could be processed into fuel. Plenty of just scrap plastic that can't be recycled, which is most of it. The only other thing I think that might truly hardcore affect us, that's like a man-made problem, is AI. AI has done leaps and bounds of backflips of advancement in the past year or two. I don't know what's going to happen. and the right people don't seem to be too interested in slowing it down or stopping it. If you go back and watch Elon a few years ago when he was asked the question about AI, you saw real fear in that man's eyes and in his voice when he described it. And I believed that Elon. I believe what he was saying then. He had conviction, and you could tell he meant what he was saying. Now, I think it's already gone too far. I think it's possible that it could be stopped. There's no way that you could say it couldn't be stopped, but they won't, because they've invested billions, maybe trillions of dollars into hardware, software, programming, employees. I mean, they're not willing to take that kind of hit or loss to stop what is pretty much guaranteed to be Skynet. Like, Skynet is going to happen if they don't do something. I'll tell you a movie that was... I had never heard of it. And I was watching TBS, something like that. And the movie came on, and I do believe it was... I think it's called The Moon is Falling, or Skyfall, something like that. What's the name of the movie where the moon is falling?
Here's an answer.
Moonfall, 2022. It's got Patrick Wilson, John Bradley, Michael Pena, Charlie Plummer, Kelly Yu, Carolyn Bartzak, Donald Sutherland. Anyway, that movie could be accurate. I feel like that movie could be very accurate about the human race and AI, and how the moon is this giant base that they created, because the moon makes 0 sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. There is no feasible way that moon that we have just happened. That moon was placed there, and it was created to be exactly what it is. You know, there's no other way to describe it. It's fascinating. When you start going down the rabbit hole about the moon is fascinating. I mean, I think that movie, you know, I don't know about the plot of it being accurate or anything, but it could be. That could be an accurate depiction of what we've got going on. I don't know. If you guys haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend checking it out, though. Called Moonfall. Really good movie. I enjoyed it. It also makes you think. It's interesting. Think you'll let New York keep their tap water? I'll keep mine. Very happy with mine thus far. Dude, you're in Australia. Like, it's probably better over there. Let's be honest. America's lacking in every area that it shouldn't be. We're lacking in infrastructure. We should have new bridges, new power lines, new whatever, buildings that aren't just tinted glass rectangles. We need to go back to building things quality, with integrity and quality, and with some flair to the design. Anyway, we pay enough in taxes, and they make enough money off of us, that we should not be seeing aging infrastructure like our power lines falling down. ready to collapse. We should not be seeing bridges that are 100 years old, 80 years old, ready to fall down. We shouldn't be seeing that type of stuff. We have worked hard enough and forked over enough cash. The government has outgrown itself. The government needs to pare itself down 80 to 90% of what it is. 80 to 90% of people that work for the government, whether it be state, local, or federal, need to be fired. They are not needed, period. We will manage without them. And then we can go back through, if that we overdone it, we can go back through and hire people, working class people that care about the fact that they're being paid by the public. I don't know. We got to do something. If something doesn't happen soon, I don't know how much longer we can continue down the road we've been on. It's sad to think about. All right, folks. It's been awesome. I think I told you guys about the UFO story that I had recently that basically has changed my life. Like I think about it all the time. I cannot fathom where those things were going that night, what they were doing. Fascinating. It's more than that, though. It's puzzling. I was dumbfounded. I think about it a lot. Started that night. Okay. Thank you for the happy birthdays, everybody. Thank you, LC, for the super chat and the birthday wishes. Dan, thank you so much for everything that you sent in over there. I do kind of wish I'd have tried this because I was going to open it. That rice pudding's looking really good too. Obviously the ice cream. I don't want to waste that at all. Like I don't want it to get moisture at all. I want it to get eaten. But man, it sounds really good. Wait, is that the one that had the leather though? All right, have you had this, Dan? Before I sign off completely, have you had this? Because this leatherwood honey made with Tasmanian pepper berries. So it's made with pepper berries. I don't know what a pepper berry is. I'm going to have to look that up. And the leatherwood honey, I assume the bees are pollinating and whatnot off of a leatherwood tree. And that's why it's called leatherwood honey. But I would also venture to bet that tree has some hints of like leatheriness to its scent. Good night all and happy birthday this week. Yeah, happy birthday to everybody. Dan's birthday's coming up. I think day after tomorrow for me. Tomorrow for Dan. I think this is the 23rd. I think. He never did say. I think it's the 23rd. And then CT and LC and Tim, I think LC said. There's definitely more. There's more birthdays in the month of June. And then somebody's was just a couple weeks ago. Who was it? I was just texting with him earlier today. Anyway, lots of birthdays this month. So happy birthday to everybody that's got a June birthday. Whether it be early June or still yet to come. I may end up doing a live stream like Wednesday. Tuesday I got a doctor's appointment. I can't do it Tuesday. I can't do an actual birthday stream, so it'd have to be the day after. But yeah, planning on doing what Dan sent sometime, somewhat soon, and I got something vintage that I want to get to something vintage. That will also be soon. Whether it might be the next one or something like that. All right. Well, thanks to my patrons. Thanks to everybody for the super chats tonight. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. And all I got left to do now is say thank you guys for watching. And I'll see y'all in the next live stream. Later.